I'm Gareth Kane and welcome to Ask Gareth. The idea here is very simple. You ask me questions about sustainability and corporate social responsibility and I answer them. The clue's in the name. And the question this time comes from the guys at EcoSeed, which is an online green news website. And it's a very simple question. It's how green is green? Very simple, but very, very difficult to answer. Probably the most difficult one I've had so far, and possibly the most difficult one I'll ever have. So, how green do you have to be before you can say you are green? Well, the reason why that's so difficult is because there is no objective, scientifically proven standard for what a green company should be. Which means the opinions of your stakeholders are all completely subjective and different. So the person in the street might accept one standard, an environmental pressure group may have a higher standard. Different environmental pressure groups will have different priorities, and you can see this with organisations like Greenpeace, who are pro-onshore wind, and the Campaign for Protection of Rural England, which is often against onshore wind. Secondly, green is very dynamic. What was regarded as green 5 or 10 years ago, like having ISO 14001, recycling your paper, or having energy efficient lighting, is regarded as standard practice now. That's a good thing, but you have to think about, is what you're claiming to be green now still going to be regarded as particularly exciting in 5 or 10 years' time? And thirdly, if you get it wrong, you could be accused of greenwash, which is the sort of modern day equivalent of committing heresy in the medieval days, and the Inquisition will turn up and start applying hot irons to parts of your body and things like that. Now, before I go on to how you can sort of avoid some of those problems, I would like you to take a step back first and think to yourself, why am I asking the question? Because if you're asking it to get some idea of how ambitious you want to be a leader in your sector and drive the whole sustainability agenda forward, then fine. But if, like some, you're aiming for mid-table mediocrity, and the only reason why you want to know how green is to see how little you can get away with and make some green claims, then think again. You know, you're on a route to that greenwash stake with the flames of public opprobrium licking around your feet. So think of your motivations. But here's 3 ways that you can address the problem of how green is green within your organisation and what you claim about it. First, quite an obvious one, is go for a third-party standard. Now, that's not very exciting, and it can be a bit lowest common denominator, but these standards do tend to cover all the bases, and it's a third party accrediting you and saying tick, 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 you have done all those things, which is better than you saying it. Secondly, make sure you tackle the elephant in the room. There is no point in worrying about how many plastic or paper cups you're using in your offices if your supply chain is destroying vast swathes of the rainforest and endangering the orangutan. Now, that might sound flippant, but it's actually happening to Unilever at the minute. Unilever have a fantastic sustainability program, but they made the mistake of announcing a campaign for sustainable palm oil. Now, Unilever is one of the biggest purchasers of palm oil in the world. So, let's face it, they can drive sustainability down through their supply chain and make it sustainable. They don't have to campaign for it, they can make it happen. And that's what the environmental pressure groups and the public expect them to do. Thirdly, a very clever tactic is to present people with the raw information, the facts, completely transparently, and let them make up their mind. So you're never saying, we're there, we've done it, we've ticked a box. Very trivial example, I was at a museum recently and they had a sign in the toilet saying, these toilets are ecologically sound because they employ a rainwater harvesting system. And, you know, that's red rag to a bull like me. You know, it's, well, what do you mean? How can that be the whole point of ecologically sound? What about the waste treatment? Is first questions, I try and destroy it. If they just said, these toilets are flushed with rainwater, then I would have given it a tiny green tick in my head and gone merrily along my way. Now, That's a trivial example, but it can scale up to massive organisations, and there are even bigger supply chains. And Apple are doing this at the minute. They've had a lot of problems, bad press about what's going on in their supply chain. So what they do now is they audit everybody and they publish all the results, the good, the bad and the ugly. And they let you decide how well they're doing. Obviously there's a big incentive for them to improve because they are putting their dirty washing out in public. But it's a powerful technique, both internally and externally, to get a trust going with your stakeholders, amongst, never mind anything else. But the triple bottom line here is the triple bottom line of green claims is never claim anything you cannot prove. Okay, EcoSeed, I hope that answers your question. Everybody else, do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I'm talking nonsense? If so, put it in the comments below the video here. I value all your opinions and all your feedback. If you want more of this sort of advice, then go to www.terrainfirma.co.uk and sign up to the Low Carbon Agenda, my monthly newsletter. You'll be informed of future editions of Ask Gareth, and you get a bunch of other advice and resources to help you along your way as well. And remember, whether you're making tiny little incremental steps towards sustainability or facilitating massive step changes, it all counts. You're making the world a better place, and you should be proud of that. Till next time, goodbye.